I have a very distinct memory of like sitting in my dad's car and having my third donut before a soccer game and him being like, "You're gonna regret that," and I didn't.
Yeah.
It was fine. My metabolism at that time was like, if I have a Baconator now, I need to like meditate for a month. Like I feel fucking terrible, dude.
Nosy Meerkats.
I had salmon for breakfast today, which was a huge mistake.
Interesting.
Wait,
I didn't
mistake.
mean to.
That sounds
you
very
didn't
new.
mean to have salmon.
I woke up.
It was forced upon you.
It
It
tricked
wasn't
you.
forced upon me. I had made, not to brag, I had made a Marry Me salmon earlier in the week
Okay.
as my dinner. A Marry Me salmon.
That's
What? Okay. What did you do to the salmon to make it?
A Marry Me salmon?
Yes.
I mean, I could go through it.
please.
Please.
First of all, this is a New York Times recipe. It's real. It's like you take the sauce. This is a crazy thing to talk about. You take sun-dried tomatoes and you have the can of sun-dried tomatoes and you use the oil from that can. Then you add onions, tomato paste, clam juice, sun-dried tomatoes, heavy cream, and then reduce it and then just put the salmon in there to cook. And it's like a Marry Me chicken, but it's a salmon.
Oh, okay.
Is
that sounds
it,
very nice.
Yeah.
Melissa Clark? Is that her recipe?
It might be Melissa Clark.
Yeah.
She's all over that motherfucker.
Oh, she's like
Melissa Clark is everywhere, and she's like, "Hey, why don't we top this with a little mozzarella?" And I'm like, "Of course, Melissa Clark." Every single time, that girl can throw mozzarella on a cast iron skillet like nobody else.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
She's
It's good
queen
to
of
have
anchovies
a woman who
too.
can do that in your life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's Melissa Clark. Kenji Lopez is all over that thing.
Yeah.
All over that.
She all over that. All over that thing.
All over that thing.
All over that thing. He's all over the New York
Mark
Times.
Bittman's all over that thing.
But yeah, I had a little left over, and I was running out of time before I left this morning, so I just ate the leftovers. And I was like, I don't know if Marry Me salmon at 10 a.m. was the best choice. But we're
Well,
here.
now you're feeling very romantic.
Now I'm feeling very romantic, and I'm having a coffee, and this is also not helping. We're doing good.
Well, one of the first ways I like knew you was I saw
This
you
should be divorce me coffee.
Yeah.
Marry Me salmon, divorce me coffee, all in the span of one day.
Yeah.
You had a fun bit about like side dishes, about how like only couples
Oh, yeah.
eat calamari, and you're
Yeah.
like, why? Like calamari's
what?
delicious.
Only couples eat calamari?
Well,
I had a bit back in the day of like, it was about how like as a single guy, I never get to eat. Like I never can go out and like enjoy calamari. Like when you're out to dinner by yourself, do you ever
No.
just order a plate of calamari and start housing that shit?
No.
not.
Because it's gonna
And come
look
to think
insane.
of it, every time, because I have ordered calamari for like takeout, but it's
Yeah.
always because I was with a friend.
Yeah.
yeah.
There are certain dishes that you share amongst love, and you can't have them when
That
you're
is a
you're not a
shame.
serial killer.
Yeah.
You know?
Like imagine if you saw
Hey,
me.
that was aggressive. I could be.
Okay, sorry.
I
Yeah,
could
come on.
be.
He has the talent for it.
I look in these eyes. These are the eyes of someone not well.
Yeah. Think about how good of a mask this would be. Think about how little he would be suspected.
You're right.
You gotta
People
think
would,
about it like
people
that.
would be like, he doesn't have the will.
Right.
Enough people already think you're soft. No offense. That I don't know that people think. I think I could be a serial killer.
No, not you. I think of the between the two of us,
Who's a bit?
who would you be least surprised?
Honestly, Lucas.
Thank you. I agree. I think between the two of us,
he has the more like everything's fine.
yes.
You know what I mean
Right,
to him?
that's
I think
true.
that the thing between us that I think the reason why is because I think you're an externalizer and I think
Yeah.
I'm an internalizer.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
hold
that
a
is
lot.
scarier.
I think you are
Yeah.
more and this is not negative, but you are more explosive with your emotions than I think I am.
I think you wear things on your sleeve.
Yes, that's
and
what I'm
his
saying.
cards
yeah.
are entirely up his sleeve.
Yes, that's exactly it.
I think that's the difference.
All right.
So yeah, get home safe tonight.
I'll work harder on
But
it.
you would do it. You'd be like, you do it with poison.
Yes.
Like I don't see you hacking.
I thought
and
you were about to
slashing.
say with poise. I was like, thank you.
But also with poise.
Yeah,
You'd
thank
be
you.
like the Riddler kind of thing.
How would you
Yes.
kill someone?
Oh wow! And how many times have I thought about this? I actually have. I feel like I would have a panic attack, and just like immediately assume I get caught.
For the record, so would I.
Yeah,
I would be
yeah.
like, I can't. I would freeze.
I would like Google like how to, and then like throw up. On my keyboard.
Welcome to Two Nosy Meerkats, where we're not good at crime.
Yay, that's
But
good.
we're good at giving you time.
This is such a good intro, knowing that we couldn't do that.
And our guest today also couldn't do that.
He couldn't even if he wanted to.
Not
and
in
he
a
does.
million years.
Not in a
Not
million years. He's an angel. He's very funny. Performs all over New York City and beyond. Give it up for Jack Finnegan.
Jack
everyone.
Finnegan.
Hey, everybody. How we doing?
We're doing great.
We're doing
Thanks
great.
for having me, guys.
Of
We're
course.
so
Thanks
excited
for
to have
being
you.
here.
This
What are
is
you
one-
What are you thinking about today?
What am I thinking about today? I'm thinking about how much I'm going to sit on my couch after this and do nothing for about 8 hours.
That's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Wait, when you say nothing, what consists of nothing? Is it a TV show? Is it a book?
I'll be honest today, and this is embarrassing to admit, but the Masters are on, and I like.
What
I
are the
like
Masters? What?
The
Golf.
golf. It's a golf tournament.
Oh.
And I am like, I'm not like really into golf, but when the Masters are on, it is like a very like.
So you're an original recipe white.
Yes, I'm like a Caucasian first edition.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just sit there, and it's everyone whispers a lot, and they just go, "Welcome to the Masters," and it's very relaxing. It's like putting on like lo-fi in the background.
Yeah. Oh, that totally
It's
makes
kind of
sense.
like that. It's just like background music. So I'll just
Yeah,
like have
yeah,
that
yeah,
on
yeah.
today, and I'll sit and I'll listen to the pitter patter of rain out the window.
That sounds
And that's
so
gonna be my
beautiful.
Saturday afternoon. Yeah.
This is gorgeous.
Yeah.
Who are the characters in golf right now?
Sonic the Hedgehog.
Sonic the Hedgehog is huge. Thanos.
Yeah.
Thanos. He was the big character. Now he's kind of faded into the background.
I just thought about him putting with his hammer and I started to laugh. There's no way that guy has a graceful putt.
Yeah. He's got a hell of a drive.
Yeah.
But his short game is a disaster.
He can only smash.
I do feel
Oh, yeah.
embarrassed whenever I bring up golf because I'm like, being into golf does suck so much. But like,
You say that, but the
Kind
thing
of
is, I
into it.
feel like I learn more and more and more. Almost like having like a new prescription.
Yeah.
Seeing how many more people are actually into golf
Yeah.
as I get older. Like I'm like, I didn't know you get as well. You
Yeah.
know.
It's
That
fun.
happens as you get older, I feel, as you just realize how many people secretly have been into golf the entire time.
yeah. And I want like my argument for it is just like when I play it, like I have like 3 friends like who play it with me, and like we go to Forest Park out in Queens. It's the only time in our lives where no one's on their phone. No one's like, we're not talking about anything else. No, they're like not talking about comedy, not talking about anything. You're just kind of in nature, hanging out with your friends,
Yeah.
and that doesn't happen anywhere else. So it's nice.
That's really nice.
That
And
is beautiful.
That's kind of my argument for it.
I've been getting into
You think Trump is deeply meditative because he's
Yeah.
always
And-
playing golf? He's always playing golf.
And that's why he does it. Him
That's-
and Scott Bassett never get to just talk.
Yeah.
They're always
never-
talking about comedy.
They're always talking about where their sets are,
Yeah.
where they didn't get into the don't
You think
tell
he's been
tournament.
like, so how is Scott?
I forgot about the don't tell. Whatever. Golf. Golf.
So I wanted to bring up like the most infuriating topic that a comic could bring up.
What?
It's like the don't tell tournament, and everyone's like, "Come on, man."
I forgot entirely. What was I gonna say about golf? I don't remember because my mind got placed on the. Oh, I've been getting into driving ranges.
Are you really?
Yeah, there's
Oh.
one at Chelsea Piers.
Yeah, I go to that one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's really
Oh my God,
fun.
we should go.
Dude, I would totally go, Gabby.
Yeah, I'm down.
It's fun. They have, I think they're discounted prices before 2 p.m. That's what I mean. I go there and I just like hit balls for like an hour, and you kind of get a workout in, and you're just by yourself.
Yeah, it's
nice.
so fun.
What got you into that?
My ex-girlfriend actually, she like saw. I think
Which?
Sylvie.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
we watched people golf at one point. Like we're on a vacation and people were on a driving range. She was like, "That looks fun. Let's go golfing." And I
Yeah,
was like,
that's
"Okay."
wonderful.
Yeah.
I want to get back into rock climbing. That's the thing that I
Were you
missed.
into rock climbing?
When I was really little. My
Really?
dad took me like 2 mountains when I was like 4. And we
Whoa,
like
dude.
we like scaled like mountains and like so I have like a good like background and foundation in like in rock climbing, and I love it. I love it so much.
That's amazing. Do you
Yeah.
think? Do you still remember like all the things, like the equipment? Do you have any of it?
Yeah, yeah, 2 hands, 2 legs. That's like
You're
your
just
that's
free
your real
soloing?
Yeah.
You just get back into it and go straight to free
Yeah,
solo.
just fucking go. Yeah, just
That's
like
awesome, man.
why are you
In an
complicating
alternate
this?
universe, you would totally be like the free solo guy.
I could be. I think I have like the right build to be a good rock climber. If I really went at it, I feel like I could.
and
be
the
amazing.
right mental illness, I think.
Yes.
Not to keep coming at you today, but
It's okay.
just like-
It's okay.
I could imagine you being like, my only will in life is to climb.
That's my favorite thing about the free solo guy is he was like, his wife, he made her get into
Yeah.
rock climbing because he
Yeah.
was like, I can't be with someone who doesn't do this.
He
as
also
well.
like talks a lot of shit about her rock climbing ability during the documentary. like, did you notice that? Half the documentary where he's like, yeah, I fell, she let me fall. It wasn't, I don't want to blame her, but like she should have been doing a little better. Like he really does, like, he talks multiple times in the documentary of like, she can't really keep up yet. It's a little annoying.
I love it when someone is just a bad guy for a moment.
Yeah, where he's like, oh, this guy really does love rock climbing more than anything.
Yeah.
So even his beloved girlfriend, he's like, I mean, she's great. She's like the love of my life, and I've never felt more comfortable around anyone. Having said that, she can't really do a 3.25 pitch. She can't really complete that, and I feel like I could train a dog to complete that. Anyway, moving on.
I just can't imagine, like, if you started dating someone who wasn't a comic, and then you were like, you gotta try comedy, and then you just like talk shit about like, yeah, the tag she gave me bombed, and it's not her fault.
Yeah,
Maybe it would have been better in context.
That's
but...
so mean. I know I used to be like a religious listener of like Tiger Belly podcasts with Bobby Lee.
Yeah, me too.
And
actually.
I know that he when he and Kalilo like were first started dating, I don't know if he like forced her, but he was like, you need to try stand up once, and like kind of made her like try it at least once.
That's crazy. to
Which
me.
is I would not wish my favorite thing on my worst enemy.
No, I wouldn't want them to even see me do it. I would just be like,
Yeah.
this, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, no.
I don't know. It's just like, to me, the idea of like starting to date someone to be like, hey, you have to try this thing that I
No.
do every day is so crazy.
So insane.
That's insane. Yeah, I
No.
don't know. That seems pretty psychotic.
Has
to me.
anyone you've ever dated like not necessarily like made you do something, but had like a requirement or an idea of what they needed in a partner that bewildered you?
Wow, that's actually really. Yeah, okay, not really in terms of activities, but I've had people change me for the better. Like, I remember my ex-girlfriend was like, you need to get a vacuum.
Okay, well that's
And I was like, yeah, dude, I don't know. Like, I was sweeping a lot.
Oh.
I was sweeping with, I'm like 26 at the time.
sure.
And I'm like kind of still like a college kid essentially living. Like, I'm not a full adult yet. And she was like, dude, if you don't get a vacuum, I might break up with you. And I was like, "What?" And I was like, yeah, you know what? That's fine. And I remember I got a vacuum one day, and she took the vacuum and with such enthusiasm went around my apartment and was like, I've been staring at this fucking corner for 6 months. Like, I remember her going over to this one corner in my bedroom being like, this corner. And she took it. But in terms of
Wow.
like activities, I'm trying to think of like any hobbies anyone got me into. I don't think so.
Maybe not something you got into, but something where someone would like says something that they like need in someone, and you're like, what the hell? Because like
Has
I
that
feel
happened
like,
to you?
I feel like, but for some reason I can't put my finger on it.
That's never.
I mean, like
I've never let anyone improve me.
Yeah. I was.
I'm exactly the way I am.
I have.
forever.
Well, I have had someone who made me worse. Like
yeah.
my ex in 2021, who was like, she tried to make me feel like I wasn't spending enough time with her, and so I literally dropped voiceover clients to make time in the relationship.
Well, that all like, did you flag that at the time at all as like red flag?
shouldn't. I should have.
Yeah.
But I didn't for a very long time.
Yeah. That's so tough. If someone's like, you're not spending enough time with me, so drop your career.
It was a
That's nuts.
It was
Drop
also
the thing that allows you to make money so we can go on dates.
Yeah.
Don't do that anymore.
Hey, you know
No,
your
and
biggest
it's-
passion in the world? It's getting in the way of coffee.
Yeah.
yeah. No, literally, and one of those clients was extremely consistent.
Yeah.
And I shouldn't have dropped it. And I really
You should go back. You should.
I did. No, do you know what's crazy is I actually did get back in contact with them and actually started working with them again, but just with way less frequency, because they were like, oh yeah,
Okay.
the role that you were in, we had someone else fill that role, and so they still work with us, and so they get the bulk of like the jobs that we send out. And I was like, that's so fair.
You gotta be like, you don't understand. My bitch ex-wife
Yeah,
made me
You don't
do
understand.
this.
I dated this girl for 6 months, and she said we needed to get into cycling.
yeah,
So I couldn't quite show up for the voiceover, man.
yeah.
Oh, I have a funny story. It's actually, you don't know that this happened, but you're involved.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Are you
Wow, now I'm
terrified?
actually, yeah.
As you should be.
Yeah, I'm sweating already.
Yeah, as you should
And it's
be.
not because I put too many layers on. Go
It's
ahead.
not at all. So one time I went to the amusement park Area 53. Are you familiar?
No? Wait,
Well-
this
well-
isn't the rest. No, I'm thinking of Mars 2112.
Miss it.
That's that's
Oh,
not
love Mars
what's
20.
what's that?
Area 53 is this indoor amusement park in Bushwick. that
Yes,
they
I have been there.
I know you have. Because
Yeah,
one
okay,
time-
because
one
now I think I know what
One
this
time
is.
I saw you there on a date, and I was gonna say hi, but I didn't because I was embarrassed that I was there by myself.
It was adult night too. I remember this wasn't normal operating hours. They had like a bar set up. You should have said hi. That would have been hilarious.
It was embarrassing because I was there by myself because I was doing the artist's way. And they
Oh.
make you do activities.
Wait,
That's-
how does the artist way relate to
Well, no, but
Area
you're on a
53?
mission. You're there for a specific
Yeah.
purpose.
In the artist's way, they say one time a week you have to do something for yourself that you love. And I was
Okay.
like, I love amusement. So I went
Yes,
to
that's
this
good.
amusement
Yeah.
But I was like, I'm not going to interrupt your date with this beautiful woman to be like,
But also-
hey, I'm on a journey.
To be clear, just to paint the visual, Lucas, when we talk amusement parks, this is like everything requires a harness to do. This
Okay.
is like rock climbing, and you're like, so she's seeing me like with a wedgie just flying through the sky on like a chair.
And you were like, damn, he looks so cool. I should ignore
No,
him.
do you know? Because with that, I remember that date because something really funny happened on it. I ended up seeing that girl for a while, so I can kind of talk about this. But like, we were, they had a thing set up. I don't know how to explain this. You know when it's like a platform and you both have those like giant. They look like giant, like ear wax things, and you fight with them.
Yes.
Do you know what I'm talking
Oh
about?
wait, so and you're like trying to bash them?
that.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
So we
yeah.
were doing that, and it was, and like, you knock each other off, and you fall down into like a pit of like foam.
Sure.
Whatever.
Yeah.
And that was like one of our like second date or something, and we were being like really flirty, like, oh, let's go do the fighting thing. And I, without really trying, just like did, and I didn't realize how much force those things generate. And I like
Launched
shoot-
her.
like,
You launched her.
Like if Gabby was watching, she would have seen like a beautiful blonde girl run at me and me just "Hota," and then her fly like
Fly
10
in
feet
the
off
air.
the platform. I'd be like, what the fuck is Jack doing? Because I remember I've never apologized more in a moment to somebody. I was like, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry.
That's really
I
sweet.
watched you beat the shit out of. I didn't see that part. I just saw you guys on the. There's
Jack
like,
hates women.
yeah,
that-
there was like
yeah.
a high up obstacle course.
Yeah,
that had
yeah.
I was so afraid on that.
Can I say this sounds really fun?
It's so much fun.
It's
That
really
was
fun.
one of the two. I've been on a couple dates where I've just been terrified and I have to put on a brave face. It was that one because I was really afraid of those heights generally, and that was like terrifying. And then I went on a date with a girl who wanted to go see the movie Hereditary. And I don't like horror movies. And I was like, yeah, sure, I'll go on this date. And I remember squeezing her hand so hard, it was like sweating.
Oh.
And I had to be like, I'm so sorry, but this is the scariest movie I've ever seen.
Yeah, I'm not a horror movie person either.
I don't like
I
it
don't
at
like
all.
it. I have like a few exceptions. Like I love the Paranormal Activity series. I think those are really good. I love the Jordan Peele movies. I love A Quiet Place. Otherwise, I don't want to touch the genre.
Yeah.
I also believe that the Human Centipede franchise is one of the worst things ever created.
I've never watched them.
Good.
Me
Say that
neither.
way. Don't watch it.
I
It's
didn't-
horrible.
To be honest, I didn't even know it was a franchise. There's more than one.
There's 3.
There's 3 human
And
centipedes.
the previous one exists in the subsequent one's universe. So like in the second one, the first one exists as a movie, and in the third one, the second one exists as a movie.
Sometimes people are just doing high concept for the sake of it.
Yeah.
That feels unnecessary. I feel like it could
I
just be
genuinely believe
Do you
that.
mean that they're both prequels or no?
No, it's a weird.
Are they inspiring each other? Like in
Kind
one
of.
movie, are they doing the human centipede because they saw it in a movie?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Is that
They're-
what's going
They're
on?
like on a date. They're watching the Human Centipede.
No,
they're
like,
like, we should
we-
do that.
that's what I gotta
I know
do.
that in the second one, the guy who sets everything in motion, he's a fan of the first movie.
So he doesn't come up with the concept of human centipede.
No, he doesn't. No.
So the whole human centipede in the lore of human centipede, the entire human centipede franchise is the fault of one screenwriter in that
Yes.
universe.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's not like an evil genius. It's just some guy
Yeah.
in horn-rimmed glasses who was like, I
Yes,
need to
exactly.
make a buck this week. That's
Yeah.
what I need to do.
Copycat Centipede.
The villain in each movie has seen the previous movie.
What the fuck?
That's so. Imagine if every horror movie was like Saw. They just saw Jigsaw in like a movie. Like if every single horror movie
We
was just
should do
inspired.
that.
That's amazing. Wait, Nightmare on
Yeah.
Elm Street was a movie first before it became like actual Freddy Krueger. Is that
Yeah.
Freddy Krueger? I think so.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. But yeah, I couldn't watch the first one. It was too much for me. The second one, I pretty much stuck it all the way. It was like when I was in college, my freshman year.
Yeah.
And I had like friends in my dorm room floor, they were watching it and they were putting it on in our suite lounge, and I hated it so much.
Yeah,
I hate
that's
those movies.
torture.
I hate them.
Are you a movie guy?
Not really.
No.
No.
I want to be, and it's weird because a lot of my friends are like cinephiles, like
Yeah.
love movies, and I'm in group chats with them, and I just cannot keep up with anything they're saying.
That's
they're like,
fine.
"Are you guys pumped for the new Vin Vendors?" And I'm like, "That sounds like a candy bar." Like I
Yeah.
don't even know. Like
does sound like a
I,
candy
I
bar.
don't know what anything is.
That's
I didn't
fair.
see any of the Oscars movies.
Do you know what's crazy? I hosted an Oscars watching party, but I've seen only like a couple of the movies.
Really?
Yeah, only saw a couple.
Any of them good?
Yeah, they were good. Conclave, very good, very good.
Conclave
Really?
was great. Yeah.
Conclave is
Yeah.
a really good one.
I do love a good Pope drama.
Oh, I love
And it's
Pope
a very
drama.
specific that genre that seems to actually be a genre at this point, like a Catholic. There was one, I think it was called Two Popes. I watched, and it was
Yeah.
about the real
It's
popes.
one cup.
Good.
The cup's the Holy Grail.
Yes,
There
yeah,
you go. That's awesome. No, I don't know. My entertainment is very low bar, and I'm trying to raise it. Like right now, I'm just like scrolling YouTube a lot.
Yeah.
What are your rabbit holes?
What composes your entertainment?
Yeah.
Right now, I'm watching. Okay, so it's a lot of Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
I watch a lot of Dungeons and Dragons content. I don't play a lot of Dungeons and Dragons because it's hard to get a game together. But I watch a lot of Dungeons and Dragons. Right now, I'm watching a lot of like history shit on YouTube because there are channels on YouTube that have reconstructed what the History Channel was before like Ancient Aliens.
Yeah.
When you were like sick in 2007, you just turned
Yes.
it on. So I've been watching a lot of that. There's a channel called History Hit that just has like an hour documentary about Stonehenge, and I'll sit
That's
at home
great.
and just watch that, and it's really nice.
No, that Stonehenge is the thing where like no one knows how the stones got there, right?
They don't know anything.
Yeah. They don't know.
That's sick.
What do you think happened?
Some people got together and decided enough's enough. This field has been empty for too long. We need it to have big rocks. But then they disagreed on what the rocks were going to do. Some of them thought it was more impactful if they were pointed this
I love
way.
the idea of disagreeing
This
on,
is
what,
yeah.
on what a rock is going to do. No.
They're like, okay, we agree that this field is drab. But first, we have to fix, and I know we have to fix it with rocks because it's 10,000 BC, and that's all
We
we
don't have anything else.
We really just have rocks.
yeah.
I would love to use string lights, but those aren't invented yet. so we're gonna go with rocks.
We can get a jazz singer. When it's all done, we can get
When
a
we're
jazz
done-
singer.
yeah,
to
this is
play
gonna be
it.
great for
I
Shakespeare.
would
in
love
the
a
Park.
boho theme, but sadly that's not in fashion yet.
Sadly, we can't do that yet.
Nothing Art Deco.
No.
Nothing Art Deco.
Nothing.
So some of them wanted all
It's
the rocks.
10,000 BC. Get with the times.
Yeah.
Some of them wanted them all to point to the sky, and some of them wanted them all to point like outward, like this. And they got in such a bad fight that they all died.
Wow.
They all killed each other. And by that point, the rocks were just pointed in all these different directions. And also, nobody came to discover them because nobody was near that field.
Yes.
Because it was so drab.
Wait,
It had a reputation that it was drab.
It was very
Wait,
drab. It was a neighborhood no one wanted to hang out in. It was the Bushwick of
It was an
of
industrial
Anglo-Saxon
It was a
England.
repurposed industrial area.
Yeah, it hadn't been gentrified yet. Yeah, it was just a little abandoned. Nothing was there.
Yeah.
Wait, I actually have did you ever see? I remember, for some reason, I saw this YouTube video, just a thumbnail that made me laugh so much. It said, "Why do things keep evolving into crabs?" Have you seen? It's like a
No.
PBS Eons video. It's
Okay.
they're like a YouTube channel where they do like mini things where they just explain like natural phenomena.
Yeah.
And apparently, like, lots of different crustaceans evolve into a crab-like thing because that's just an efficient shape for a crustacean to be.
Optimizing.
Yeah, the crab is the optimized animal
Yes,
of the
exactly.
sea.
Yeah, it's like it is a YouTube. You guys, and I think that Stonehenge is proof that all things naturally become Lego.
Yeah. That's true.
I think that is really true. I think no matter humans all around the world forever have always been like, I want to play blocks.
Yes,
In every civilization, let's play blocks.
I cannot stress enough how that isn't a joke to me.
No,
I
it's very
really
true.
believe that.
I think that's 100% true.
Yeah, I want to have fun with my blocks. Yeah.
It feels like every civilization is like, let's line something up with the sun and the moon. And
Yeah.
like everything is just that.
Yeah.
All the time.
Were you a big like Lego kid?
No, I was a big like Thomas the Tank Train kid.
Yeah. So
I was like building a lot of like train tracks and like having trains. And stuff
yeah.
like that. Love that. It
I
was cool.
once went to the Bluebell Railway, which is like in the UK somewhere where they have like a train that was in Thomas the Tank Engine. Like you could ride it, and I was on cloud.
Wait, what do you mean it was
fucking-
in Thomas the Tank? Like one of the characters?
I mean, it didn't have a face.
Right, I was
But it
gonna
was
say.
like,
Yeah.
but as face aside, it was like the train, but in real life, in
Yeah.
like a life size, like same color scheme and size and
that's
shape and
so
everything,
cool.
and it was amazing.
Yeah.
Getting to ride that, I was like, this fucking rocks. Seeing like all like the pistons moving, the wheels and everything, I was like, this is.
Was it
this
the
is
dark
spectac-
green one? I remember one
I
of
think
them
it was a
dark-
purple one
It was
with like a
purple
yellow
one?
top.
Okay.
It was amazing.
Damn. That would've
Absolutely
blown
blew
my
me
mind as a
away.
kid.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, so good.
I just remember there was a diner in my town that had like a train tracks around the top, and I would just go to the diner all the time and stare at the
That's-
train
Just
tracks.
stare at the train tracks.
Yeah, it was
It's
awesome.
so cool to see a little mechanism just go.
Yeah, I
It's
loved it.
so great.
And I like little. I was a sucker for like little towns, because you know how like people when they build like train model sets also
Yeah.
like have to add
Yeah.
a post office.
Yep.
Like that.
You
Love
gotta.
that kind of shit.
Did you ever watch The Polar Express?
Oh, dude, I was a Polar
Good
Express
movie.
book kid. Huge.
Ooh.
Like to the point of the Polar Express book was like because it ends with the bell.
Yeah.
Like you only
Yes,
believe in
yeah,
Santa
yeah.
if you still hear the bell. So like we would get each other the bell for Christmas. It was very adorable. This is before the movie. By the time the movie came out, I was like, the book was better. That was the first time I could say that. I was like, you really should read the book. I was like, I think this animation might age poorly, so I think you should probably read the book.
It didn't have to age poorly. It just
It
was
didn't start
poorly.
off that
Yeah,
great.
it didn't. But I remember at the time they were like, "Doesn't this look like Tom Hanks?" And we were like, "Sure."
No, yeah,
I
sure.
really liked the Uncanny Valley, and I was very surprised to hear that like kids were leaving the theater crying.
Wait, is that real? Did
yeah,
that happen?
when the Polar Express came out, like people would have to like take their kids home
Whoa.
That's awesome.
because
Because they have taste.
yeah, because the kids would be like, the narrative structure doesn't work the way it should.
Yeah.
There's not a clean Act 3 conclusion.
Not every story is fit for every medium. Sometimes the stories are specific to the medium in which they are originally constructed.
Derivative.
You can't just recreate it shot for shot every time. You need to adjust it.
He's Icelandic.
Yes.
Desert Queen.
I remember. Didn't the movie add a character? Didn't they add the homeless guy?
Oh yeah, there was
Oh.
a homeless guy involved. I
I
don't know if
never
they
read the
added
book.
it
He was
'cause
like a
I never read the
ghost.
book.
Yeah.
And
he
he
like
was-
fades away, comes back. He's a
Yeah,
mystical
yeah.
creature. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a very like 2004 thing. You had to have some pathos. You have to have like a sad homeless guy somewhere in your movie. Otherwise, it didn't work.
Yes. What were the other kids movies coming out at that time? What's a 2004 kids movie?
I think that was 2007. It feels
2007?
2007 to me.
Okay, so like
I don't know.
Monsters Inc. era.
Monsters Inc. was
Yeah.
2003 or 2002.
Was it really that
know.
early?
I don't know. It just feels right. Hold on, wait.
That's wild.
Wait, I need to Google. I need to know.
Give me
be-
my phone.
Yeah. Okay.
Jamie, pull that up.
Monsters Inc.
No, no. I feel like
if
Monsters.
Jamie also worked for this podcast, it'd be the greatest thing in the entire world.
Pretty good. Yeah.
The Joe Rogan Experience and the two Nosy Meerkats
No, wait,
podcast.
yeah.
Absolutely hilarious.
What kids movies came
No,
out?
wait. Make
in-
sure. I want to know if like I could also get my phone, but like when did Monsters Inc. and Polar Express come
Okay,
out?
Polar Express was 04.
Oh, it was 04.
So
And
I think that's got to be the same era.
Oh yeah.
If Monsters Inc.
Shark
is
Tale came out 2004.
Shark Tale, Nemo.
Great movie.
Monsters
Nemo.
Inc. first movie, 2001.
Really?
The
Damn.
same year as 9/11.
And some
Wait,
say the
wh-
cause.
Stop everything.
Hold on.
I think there's a connection here.
I think the monsters flew the plane.
Yeah, I think Mike Wazowski, jet fuel doesn't burn steel beams at that temperature.
Yeah.
I don't know how to
I
make a connection
really
between that.
loved Roz from Monsters Inc.
Oh yeah, like that. Yeah.
Her.
Yeah, the
lady,
receptionist.
yeah, the lady from Queens who was just in Monsters Inc.
yeah.
She was my favorite because I was like, this is so. Because I went to New York City public school. I was like, this is so recognizable.
Yeah,
to
she
me.
reminded me of my Aunt Catherine, who was a cigarette smoking,
Yes.
like 80-year-old
Slug woman.
Yeah,
Yeah.
from Sunnyside. That's exactly who that was. It was
There's
awesome.
always at every like New York or New Jersey like school. There's always a woman named Kathy who has like crossing guard energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she is always a stickler for the rules.
Uh-huh.
Do you know what that reminds me of? I have never seen a less healthy population than a public school PE teacher.
Now I'm thinking back. I got to be honest. Mine were in Jersey. They were in shape.
Really?
Yeah,
Crazy.
mine were like I remember mine were like legit in shape to the point where I was like, it sucked because they were
Wait.
so in shape.
This is because what has your experience been with PE teachers? Did
Yeah,
they,
big fat guy. In
Yeah,
fact, when I
really?
was like 8, I went up. I didn't have a lot of friends, so I wasn't doing this to entertain other people. I was really quiet when I was in 3rd grade, and I went up to my PE teacher when I saw him in the stairwell. We were alone. It was just us two, and I said, "When's the baby due?" And he's a man.
Hell yeah!
All right,
Wait, how'd that go?
He looked at me and said, "That's really not okay to say." But like, it's crazy the fact that
because the baby died.
it's crazy doing that to someone when there's no one around.
That's like your first roast joke.
At some
Yeah,
point,
it
it's
is,
just
yeah.
psychological terrorism
Yeah.
to do that to someone. when
That's
there's
so
no
mean to
one
do. I remember we had the only exception because I remember they really were in like pretty good shape. But I had a football coach in high school, Coach Martin, I think it was his name.
It
and
was.
he had, yeah, probably. And he had a stomach that didn't make sense. Like it was like a beer belly, but like so, like his whole body looked like not that. And then he had a stomach that was just literally if someone put a basketball and like surgically implanted it in his stomach, it was like just a hump more
Yeah.
than it was fat.
Perfectly
like
round.
a perfectly round beer belly. And
Wow.
he couldn't really bend over with it. So when we would do like football drills, he had a football on a stick because you have to simulate like someone hiking the ball. So he had a football on a stick because he couldn't bend over and hike the ball himself, and he would just pull the football
Oh my
as
god!
like the simulation. So he invented a football on a stick, so he didn't need to bend over. 'cause
That's
his
and then he
stomach
ate
didn't-
it.
That's the funniest thing to be like. Oh yeah, no, we all experienced that. No, no, dude, that was
Yeah.
that was one guy.
He had to come up with an invention to fix it, and it was a giant. It was the most insane looking thing ever. It was just a giant. It was a football.
He
on a
was
stick.
so impaired by his stomach, he became crafty.
Yeah.
Wow.
So so you played football in high school.
Played is very hard. I was on the football team first 2 years and in the marching band the last 2 years,
Ooh.
which pretty much explains.
Was that your
everything about
choice?
me. Yes. I hated football.
Yeah.
I like some of it, but I was like a lineman, and like my school only had like 500 kids in it. So anyone who was like a little chubby, they were like, "You're on the football team," because we didn't have enough kids to field anything.
You look fortified.
Yeah,
somehow,
like I wasn't strong at all, but I did weigh over 200 pounds. So they were like, "Get in the trenches, Finnegan." But I didn't have any of the intensity for it, and I was going up against like roided out New Jersey kids who like would literally come up to the line and be like, "I'm gonna kill your mom tonight." Like the amount of shit that like kids would say, because this is in the era of like Eminem. I always say like I grew up in the era of like sports players who made sports not fun.
Yeah.
So like,
Oh, yeah.
like Tom Brady, Derek Jeter, all these guys who were like, I will die for this.
yes.
Yes.
So all the kids thought they had to be that way. So it would be like a bunch of 13-year-olds being like, "Are you ready to fucking get killed today?" And I'm like, you play Zelda too, man.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing here?
Wait, can I ask you, what do you think set this off? Because I have an idea in mind of what I think may have caused that.
I think it started with Michael Jordan.
That's exactly what I was about to say.
Yeah, I think Michael Jordan was the first one who was like,
Yeah.
"This isn't fun.
Yeah.
None of this is fun."
The
And
first
I'm-
one to be like genuinely aggressive with his competitive edge.
Yes.
He was genuinely like, I want to kill you. I want to destroy you.
And kids would like emulate that, but it looked so stupid on kids.
yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Like now I think it's different. Now you have like Travis Kelce and like Taylor Swift. I don't know. It feels like a little more fun.
Yeah.
Whereas then it was like people sweating the Gatorade colors.
Yeah.
And just being
Athletes are the one people of men that like need a podcast.
yes, yeah, absolutely.
You need something to soften you up and get some words out.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
That's true. I remember being like a baseball fan in the big Derek Jeter era. He was my favorite player, and I remember feeling like if someone hit a home run and was celebrating, I remember being like, "Keep your head down, kid. Act like you've been there before." That was like the ethos.
No,
of
because
the
Derek Jeter would like not get a hit and sit in the dugout for like 3 hours after the game and just think about it. That's why
Yeah.
my favorite player was Bernie Williams, because he played flamenco guitar.
Yes, he still does.
I know. So like
Yeah.
every 6 months, Bernie Williams would come out and play like the national anthem on flamenco guitar, and I was like, "That's my guy."
Yeah,
Like
he
that's
really
so much
rocks.
more my vibe than Derek Jeter.
Well, now baseball players are trying to be a little more fun. Like,
Yeah.
there was a documentary about the Red Sox that like just came out, and there's a player named Tristan Casas who like paints his nails.
Yeah.
To baseball, that is like alarm. It's like alarm bells in everyone's brains.
Yeah.
What do you mean you paint your nails? Are you a serial killer? Are you a
Yeah.
psychopath? They.
I love that they don't guess gay.
I Lucas, it's the same thing.
They just use the word like sissy or something.
Yeah. No, but like serial killer is like, whoa.
There's no way you're gay, so there must be another explanation for this. There's no way you can hit a baseball and be gay, so you must be some sort of serial killer.
It's so good. There's only been 2 openly gay baseball players in the history of the sport.
I didn't know there's been one, to be honest with you.
The,
Do you know who they
the
were?
first one invented the high five.
I know about this.
Yeah.
What?
But was he open at the time?
He was. That's why
Okay.
his career like went on the
Yeah.
fritz.
Whoa.
Yeah.
No, tell Lucas that story because
Please,
awesome.
wait, when was this?
I don't know exactly how it happened, but it was in like the 1970s,
Mm-hmm.
and this guy hit a home run, and I guess he was just so gay that he went like, like
And then he
shot
was
a
like,
player, he
fuck, put her there.
Yeah. And then that's literally what happened. Like one guy put his hand
Wow.
up, the other guy was like, I guess I hit that.
yeah, and then,
And then that
they
became
just
the high
invented
five.
it. Yeah, that's the high
That's
five.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god. What in the world? I am not expecting a package or anything.
And that's the first gay baseball player.
Yes, wait, hold
Yes,
on.
there
And
he
he's
is.
here.
And then the second one was this guy Billy Bean, not the athletics, not the
Not
GM,
the GM, yeah.
different guy. Oh, someone canvassing for Zoran.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's possible
John
I know
Zoran.
those people because of Liz's my
Oh, yeah.
girlfriend's like a political activist.
Oh, awesome.
So it's possible like I would know those people who just knocked.
Oh,
Not
shame.
to brag, not to brag, not to brag, but
I love Zoran. I'm 100% gonna
Yeah.
vote for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think they could probably, they don't, the block on, they probably have some other
I prefer
areas
if you
they
didn't
can
say where I live.
Oh, sorry. Shit. Sorry.
Wow.
It's okay. Wait, hold
My
on.
bad. I didn't think about that.
No, I do need to. I do
You can
need
edit
to,
that
Yeah,
out, right?
I'll edit it out. Yeah.
My apologies.
You
Liz.
live
okay,
in
it's
the
okay.
Chuck E. Cheese at Atlantic Avenue.
Yes,
Barclays
exactly.
Center?
Yes,
Yeah,
that
that's
is
so crazy, dude, that you live.
such a liberal area. The Chuck E. Cheese.
This is my favorite apartment I've ever seen in Hoboken.
Thank you.
Lucas, I love that we're New York comedians and yet you live in Ohio. That's
Yes.
crazy to
That's
me.
wild, dude.
Yeah.
It's walking distance. And I
you know
make
what?
everyone walk.
I never knew Cincinnati was this close.
I
I got here
know.
in pretty much a jiffy.
Oh my god, you should try New Zealand. It's a hop and a skip, but it's all right.
It's okay. It's
Yeah.
I
okay.
kind of want to go to Cincinnati because
Why?
well, they have a zoo with
We have zoos.
one of the most famous hippos in the world, Fiona.
Ah, Fiona the hippo.
Who's Fiona?
Fiona was the big viral hippo before Mudang.
I was gonna say. Why was Fiona just cute? Also cute.
Also cute, also very small, like born prematurely. Like they didn't
Okay.
think she was gonna
Adorable.
live. And then they like give updates about her weight because I guess hippos are supposed to be like 500 pounds or more.
Yeah.
And so they'd be like,
I'm
Fiona's
120.
gaining. Fiona's gaining weight. Which like if it were me, I would kill myself. If people were on Twitter being like, Gabby put on 10 pounds over the past year.
Everyone come see it.
I remember.
See her behind the glass. Don't knock. She'll notice and she'll stop.
We're doing a field trip.
I remember we had Gabe Malika on when we talked about Fiona the hippo, and I remember there was some sort of joke you made about like taking her identity, and I said intellectual hippo property theft.
Oh,
Wow, that's nice.
Yeah.
Lucas, you should do stand-up
I should
comedy.
try it.
God, dude, yeah, I think you have a way with words. Man.
Yeah, I was just remembering a riff that I made,
Yeah.
but I was really proud of it.
Are you into the zoo? You like this?
Into the zoo?
You like the zoo?
I haven't been to the zoo, and I think, like maybe like since I was 10. I don't know if I've been to a zoo in so long.
It's a good date spot. The aquarium.
Which zoo,
Great
though?
date spot.
Which one?
Like the Central Park Zoo is good.
Central Park Zoo.
There's a really good one. The Bronx is really good. There's also Shed Aquarium is outstanding as a date spot.
I've never been to Shed Aquarium.
Oh my god, you got to do it.
really?
You got it.
actually
It's so
might do that.
peaceful. It's
Yeah.
because it's a you will never not be able to hear the other person because it's a quiet space. You're just everything is separated by glass.
Such a good point.
Yeah, it's a great place to talk and it's so peaceful. You're just seeing animals swim very
I can't tell you how much I'm actually like. That's such a good idea.
Yes.
Because the
you
older
should
I get,
go.
especially the more when I'm at a bar and it's like really loud, and I'm like, can we just? I just want to talk.
Dude, the
And it's like-
aquarium is where it's at. Also, I'm not sure if you're like an edible person, but an edible at the aquarium is the best place, and it's the best combination in the world.
I've done an edible at the planetarium.
Oh, that's
That's
really nice.
great.
Yeah.
That was pretty
That's
nice.
really,
Yeah.
really
I like
good.
that a lot.
What's the worst date you've ever been on?
What's the worst date I've ever been on? Oh my god, there's so many bad ones. I'm trying to think. There was one where I don't know if I can tell this story. I don't want to tell this story because I was on a date with a girl, and she found out she was diabetic on the date. So here's what I mean by that. We were on a date, and we were drinking, and we had maybe 2 beers.
Okay.
And she all of a sudden was blackout drunk,
Okay.
like gone. And I got scared and she got so drunk that she started just hitting me. We were at Arlene's grocery in the Lower East Side. And I remember she just started hitting. She was like, let's go dancing. And I was like, okay. Like at this point, I'm just like chasing her around to try to get her back.
Oh my god.
I know. And then we go to, what's that bar? The bar, I forget the name of the bar. It's one of those like 23-year-old. I was really young. We were like 24 at the time.
Sure, yeah.
And we go to this dance bar, and we start dancing, and she just starts punching me on the dance floor. She's just like throwing hooks, and there's like people there, and they're like, "Is she okay?" And I'm like, "I don't think so." So I like got her home, and just like I was like, "Okay, you're safe home."
Sure.
She was living at home, so like her family was there and stuff.
Okay.
And then the next day she texted me and she was like, "Hey, yeah, I'm going to the doctor. I just found out I'm diabetic and I think I was having like a blood sugar thing." But I was so scared because it looked like I drugged her. Like very clearly looked like I drugged her. And I was like, I swear to God. And she was like, "Yeah, no, I just went to the doctor and found out I have this."
Did she say sorry for violence?
She didn't remember that part.
Okay.
I don't
Did
think
you
she
ever tell her?
I think I did because we did end up going on more dates later.
Yeah.
Once it was under control. But like I remember that date just sitting in this bar getting punched in the face by this girl. Like a lot. And I just remember being like, I don't know. I was like too young to know how to handle it. And I was like, all right, let's just get you
That's
home.
not an age thing.
Yeah, I'm sure. But it looked so bad.
Sure, yeah.
Like to
yeah.
anyone who's out who like sees this guy who's fine and this girl who is blacked out all of a sudden.
Yeah.
It
Correct.
looked really bad. And I remember texting her the next day. I'm like, "Are you okay? Is everything okay?" She's like, "Yeah, but I did just find out." I'm like, I think she was diabetic.
That's hilarious.
And that's the worst one.
That's
Yeah.
That's
that
why
is
I didn't
bad.
want to tell the story because it's like kind of a dark story, but it is the worst date.
Oh yeah, but
no
it is also
question. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is also I have empathy for everyone involved.
Yes, it was
Yeah.
bad all around.
Yeah.
Except the diabetes.
Yes,
don't
I have
have-
no
Yeah, that
empathy
was
for the
tough.
I
diabetes.
don't have empathy for
Yeah, yeah,
diabetes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, not on my watch.
Not on my watch.
No way.
That's insane.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Was
I'm
it
trying
here
to-
in New York that happened?
That was in New
Yeah.
York because it was Lower East Side.
Yeah.
It was
Yes, of
Arlene's.
course,
It
right,
was
you said that,
Arlene's
yeah.
grocery.
Yeah.
Trying to think if there's another one I can think of.
That's incredible.
That's the one that stands out. I haven't had too many bad dates.
Yeah.
Like
That's
first
good.
dates.
You know, I
Usually they're
just-
pretty okay.
I
Yeah.
just remembered this isn't like the worst date I've ever been on, but I remember it was the most boring. But it was a girl who I met at a friend's birthday, and we like hit it off at this birthday, like playing pool and stuff, and it was great. And she actually like hit on me, and I was like, "This is awesome."
Yeah, hell
and
yeah.
so we went out on this date, and I remember it was like right as I was starting to do stand up. She was talking about how she was once an au pair in France, and like the family that she was like babies, like what is au pairing, whatever the verb of that is.
Yeah, like nannying.
Nannying, that's the
Ish.
word. Yeah. Like like they were like somewhat of note, and they had enemies, and someone left a flaming bag of shit on their doorstep
That's awesome.
that she had to clean up.
Not just
Oh my
poop.
God.
Set it on fire.
Fiery poop.
Yeah.
And then she also like without speaking any Arabic or French, she like was like stuck in Morocco and found her way back to Europe. But here's the thing, horrible storyteller. She had extraordinary things happen in her life, could not tell them to intrigue someone to save her life. And all I was thinking was, these stories are wasted on you.
Like her version of going to all that stuff is just like,
Yeah.
So I went to Morocco. The flight was a little bumpy.
Yeah.
Like just talking about the details that don't matter.
Yeah, all I was thinking was, I hate that the universe has thrown these things your way. You don't deserve these things.
Dude, that reminded me, this doesn't technically count as a bad date because I wasn't on a date, but I did go to Morocco with my ex-girlfriend.
Ooh.
At the time, I was studying abroad, and this was like my first girlfriend, and we had just broken up. And she was like,
Broken up before the trip or at the trip?
Before the trip.
Okay.
And she was like, we can still be friends. This is like the adult thing. We're always friends. And at the time, I was like, yeah, sure. That's probably how it works. And then she like, do you want to go to Morocco together? Because I'm going to be studying abroad too in a different area. And I was like, yeah, sure. Mainly in my head being like trying to prove that I could do it. Trying to prove I could like be friends with this person.
Right.
And we were showing up to Morocco at different times. So I was on a plane and I made friends with these two Brazilian guys who sat next to me. And one of them was the hottest man who's ever existed on earth. He was a Brazilian Rasta guy.
Whoa.
He barely wore a shirt ever.
Yeah.
He had like long dreads, but it like worked. And he like his whole thing was like peace and love and like energy brought us together and all
That's
this
hot.
stuff.
It is
It
hot
was
to
very
be
hot.
peace
And
and
I
love.
hung out with them for like a day. And then the next day, my ex-girlfriend got there, and we hung out with those guys. So I basically sat in Morocco for 3 days watching her flirt with, like, a hot Brazilian Rasta guy. Like, truly just some guy who's, like, talking to her, like, I really think, like, positive energy brought us together. And, like, we're here because the universe wanted us here. And she was
like, yes.
She was eating it hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah.
And she was just falling in love with this man. And I was in Morocco with a sunburn being like, this is hell. I'm in hell now.
Yeah, that's
Be
the
like,
worst
wow,
thing I
being
can
an
possibly
adult
imagine.
sucks.
Yeah, that was me being like, I could be cool. It's totally cool if she gets with other people. She's single now. I'm single now. We could both hook up with other people. And I'm sitting there just like, oh. And it hurt.
That's bad.
Yeah.
That
was it.
really sucks.
Well, I just love the idea. If someone said to me who was really hot, I think it's like energy that brought us together. There's like a certain hotness threshold you have to say that for me to be like, totally.
Right.
Yeah, but he's existed in life never not being able, never being prohibited from saying that.
Yeah.
Because that's always worked for him.
This was a guy who, like, the second he got off the airplane, took off his shirt. Because he was like, I'm more comfortable now. He only wore a shirt because TSA made him and then took it off.
That's
Wow.
like, there was an era, if we're going back to the 2000s, I think it was around the era like Twilight was released,
Yeah.
where in every movie, at some point, a guy would unnecessarily take his shirt off.
Yeah,
Yes,
100%.
absolutely.
And Twilight also takes place in, like, Pacific Northwest, right?
Yeah.
So it's, like, cold. And
so
then they're,
there's
like,
no reason
constantly removing their shirt.
People to be taking
Yeah.
their shirts off. I remember
that is such a horny thing to do. To
Oh,
write.
to just rip. Yeah.
To
yeah.
write, oh, people are taking their shirts off. Oh, yeah, it's the Pacific Northwest.
But Robert Pattinson, like, his whole thing was like he wouldn't do the whole like shirtless guy thing. Like, they asked him if he would get in better shape. He was like, no, you can draw abs on me.
I've never respected a man more.
He did the same thing for Batman.
Really?
Yeah, they were like, we need you to get ripped. You're playing Batman. And he was like, I'm not going to do that. So he
That's-
just didn't get ripped for Batman.
That's great.
And I thought that's why Batman's like kind of an anemic punk rocker in the new Batman.
That guy rocks. He also had
Also,
a-
one of the best Batmans I've ever seen.
Great Batman.
So
Yeah.
good.
He's one of my favorite actors.
He
Yeah.
really has grown on me. I'm like, wow, you've really shaped up.
He takes swings too. Like
Yeah.
every movie he does is weird, and like he always
Yeah.
puts on an accent that barely makes any sense, and he just goes for it. And I think it's awesome.
Remember the movie? Oh my God, what's that movie called? Remember the 9/11 movie? Remember?
I
Me.
actually didn't see that one, but I know what you're talking about. It ends
Yeah.
with 9/11.
Yes,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
before it became a meme, like I watched the movie, I was like, "This is so beautiful," because it's actually just a movie about a romance.
Yeah.
For 85 minutes. It's a movie. It's a beautiful romance movie between Robert Pattinson and this other girl, and then in the 11th hour, he's like the storyline has wrapped up.
Yeah.
He's learned what he needed to from this relationship, and then it zooms out, and he is in the first tower of the Twin Towers, and
It's-
then you see there's
It's so unserious. That's why it's funny. It's taking 9/11 so unseriously.
There's a scene with his like little sister who's in school, and you look up at the chalkboard. The date is September 11th, 9/11. You're like, where the fuck did this come
Does he work
from?
in the towers throughout the movie, or it's just like
His-
randomly at the end?
Dad, I think, works in the towers, but his dad's
It's not only 9/11, it's a nepotism.
Yeah, it's,
Nepo 9/11.
it's an anti-nepotism movie.
But his dad's not even there that day. His dad's not even in the tower.
He's just visiting his dad's office.
He's just visiting the office.
It's just so contrived. The last scene is like, I'm in the mood for a view. They just have no reason for him to be there.
Yeah. He goes in the elevator.
That's amazing.
Like when I was a teenager, I used to I used to go to Times Square and I would like ride up and down the elevator of the Marriott.
Really?
Yeah, just for fun.
Okay. That's awesome.
You just gotta entertain yourself.
It's so
sometimes,
easy
you
to
know?
entertain a kid if you think about it. They don't
Yeah.
need that much. I needed so little.
I
Yeah.
needed nothing.
Yeah.
I remember we had this big tree in my backyard, and I just liked hitting the bark off it with like a plastic baseball
Great.
bat.
So
I would
That's
do that-
wonderful.
I would do that for hours.
That's beautiful.
And I remember telling people, being like, yeah, it's my job to remove the bark.
Aww.
Like I remember someone, because like I think it wasn't great for the tree, so I remember like adults being like, you should probably stop doing that. I'm like, I was assigned this job. I was actually assigned to remove all the bark from this
As a
tree.
kid, you want a role.
You want to
want
be
a
kind of
purpose.
adult, like you like
Yeah.
want a thing to do.
You want a job. You want to know that you contributed to something.
Yeah, 100%.
It's like, oh, like kids are always like if you're like cleaning the bowl after like making brownies, you'd be
Yeah.
like, hey, and I helped.
Yeah,
You know,
Right.
I was
have-
always
I have such a this is like maybe my earliest memory, because I remember my best friend lived next door to me, and he moved away when we were 4, so this is before he moved away. So he was living next to us, and our parents were trying to go somewhere. This is before MapQuest or anything, so it's like what train to take, how to get wherever. And I remember they were trying to figure it out, and I was on the phone with my friend because they were like, hey, you want to talk to Ross? And like me and Ross are trying to figure out what train to take for them. And we're just staring at like the pamphlet of like the train schedule and being like, well, it's passing that tree. I think that tree's in Melbourne, so we should probably take the train to like trying to figure out how to get somewhere for our parents. Like I remember that
so
very
sweet.
It's like very rare that you remember like kid logic that you had. But
Yeah.
but I remember that. Like remembering that kid logic.
that's wonderful.
Yeah. It's
I
adorable.
love that.
And I must have been like 3.
Yeah.
Three.
Like, because
And you were helping your parents plan a journey.
We thought we were. We were pretending
Oh.
to. We weren't actually.
I'm sure he was. Yeah, he wasn't like
All this
and
time,
then-
I thought you were genuinely responsible for
Oh
a
no,
trip.
no, no, no! Our parents were behind us, actually figuring it out.
Deeply
But it was,
parentified.
Our parents- How dumb do you think my parents are, Lucas?
Parents are just
But you know how like you know how
sitting on
parents-
chaise lounge.
My
like,
parents are like, we
they'll
can't figure out
it
NJ Transit. Give it to the toddler. He'll figure out how to get to
I
Secaucus.
thought that I don't know. Maybe they weren't good with maps.
3-year-old Jack
I
was
didn't
over
know he
here
was
like
3.
Yeah, no, I was 3 at the time.
the express train leaves at 6:30 p.m.
Jack
His
likes
parents are like laying on his chaise lounge like Jack's got it. No, Jack's got
My
it.
parents'
Don't worry
noses
about
are
it.
bleeding, and I'm just like, no, here's what you do. Don't worry, everyone relax. I'll get us to Penn Station by 5.
I'm imagining your parents are like smoking meth.
That's what my parents are just.
Like, we're here to party.
Cartoonishly
Jack's got the
negligent.
train.
I'm the one smoking a cigarette. I'm 3 years old, just like.
I'm
I'll
sure you
get
made them dinner that night too.
yeah, absolutely, yeah. I made a marry me salmon. I've been making
Call back.
ever since.
It's like
my
it's like the movie Matilda.
Yeah.
That you guys watched it? We
Yeah.
familiar?
Yeah,
but
Yeah,
that's great.
yeah. Where she's like, doesn't she like know how to make pancakes? Like
Yeah.
really young.
Yeah. She's the most self-sufficient child in the world.
She's like total latchkey kid.
the kids who are like cooking on the stool. They always have a stool in front of the stove.
You got pancakes going.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
We also wanted to ask you, what's the worst thing you think you've ever done that you could admit?
Jesus. What's the worst thing I've ever done?
Beat up that woman on that date.
Yeah,
I did. That was me getting beat up.
that was
That was
Really?
really
Because I think it was the other way.
I was trying to deflect hands on that date like that. What's the worst thing I've ever done? I don't know. That's a
think about-
really hard question.
It is a tough one. It is a tough one.
What do you guys say for that? Like, do you have that?
Worst thing I've ever done?
'Cause
Oh
mine
no,
are
I
very-
actually have an answer. Mine is
okay.
that when I was 8 years old,
Whatever it is, it's gonna be evil.
Oh no, it is evil. It is really evil.
But the worst thing you ever did is when you were 8?
not the worst, but it is like it's the first truly evil thing I ever did.
Okay.
Truly evil. Where there was a magician doing like card tricks for a semicircle of kids at
Yeah.
a fair. And he was doing perfect card tricks, but I convinced him that every card trick was done wrong by being like, no, that's not my card. And then eventually I destroyed his confidence, and he was once sitting on the, and at the end he was sitting on the grass being like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I was like, you can turn it around. You'll find something else. And he was doing an amazing job.
That reminds me of something I did when I was little that I still feel bad about.
Oh,
What'd you
what?
do?
I think I was in like 3rd grade. Because I was in Mrs. Walsh's class. And I remember, because I have a problem to this day. When someone speaks to me in an accent, I like start repeating it back to them.
Echolalia.
Is that what that is?
Yeah, echolalia. It's where you involuntarily you have to mimic whatever someone is saying.
Well, then I do that, right? But I did it in 3rd grade. I was talking to my friend. He had a stutter. So I remember like he talked to me in a stutter and like I stuttered back to him without thinking of it. But
You're a child.
Yeah, but it looked, I knew it was wrong at the time. I caught myself at the time.
All right, you suck.
Even in no, I didn't like continue doing it, but I remember thinking, oh, he probably thinks I'm making fun of him and I'm not at all.
Then you are.
But I wasn't trying to at all.
Oh, yeah.
It just was like, I just repeat back what the other person does. And I remember doing that and feeling so fucking horrible about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember my family does this thing where we put on a face. It's called the bull face.
Okay.
And it's like this. It's like you're I don't know why that's a bull, but it's a bull.
Okay.
But what I didn't realize was that face can also
Everyone else says Jew face.
yeah, but it's the horn. But that face where you put your lips like this, it can also come across very similar as someone with special needs. And I didn't realize this. So one day my friends and I were all doing the bull face. We're also doing the bull voice, which is where you talk in that. But you're a bull.
How do you talk?
You're like, I'm a bull. But you're a bull. You're like an
Okay.
animal. You're charging people. You have hooves.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
You're like playing with each other. It's like a
Okay.
playful thing. You're a bull. So my
Sure.
friends and I are doing the bull face. A woman on the bus comes up to us and she goes, just so you know, I saw that you were making fun of me. And I looked at her face and it was like,
was her.
Perhaps not dissimilar to the bull face. But here's the thing. We were all so genuinely confused that I think she realized that we weren't.
Yeah.
And then egg on her face. She, she just has to be like, oh no, sorry, I'm like a little self-conscious about that. We were all like, no, it's okay, it's really fine. And then we had to explain like, no, you don't understand. Like, the face you thought was you, we're actually acting like animals. We're actually acting like bulls.
Do you think she was like, wow, I really teed myself up for failure with a bunch of children?
Made it so much worse. No, we weren't making fun of you. We were just doing something very similar to what you look like.
Yeah.
Which is what's considered one of nature's worst creations.
Yeah.
That's all.
Arguably one of the least attractive animals.
Yeah, we're not impersonating you, we're impersonating one of God's mistakes, which kind of looks like you.
Yeah.
It was a pretty awkward moment for everybody.
That's very
Yeah,
awkward.
that's terrible.
Because we were like, what? And then she had to be like, oh, no, I just thought, see, because it looks so similar
To me.
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
we couldn't help her, but we
Sorry.
can help.
The people who are our listeners who submit questions to us and need advice on their
so
lives.
excited. Let's do it.
Listener submissions. So sometimes people write in, sometimes they want advice, sometimes they just want us to, say whatever.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
wait. Can I
Riff.
share one story though before we bring up listener submissions from our
Please.
double date?
Please.
About
Oh, yeah.
no, but like so someone, was it you who shared like oh no, it was a photo of Liz's niece?
Yes.
It was a photo of Liz's niece. Very
Well,
cute
this is
baby.
when Lukas and I went on a double
We
date.
went on a double date a couple nights ago, and like Gabby's girlfriend Liz shared a picture of her niece baby, very very cute, and it was like quite a big. We were talking about like when babies are big. Like she said, yeah. Anytime you see like a big baby, I just immediately go like, oh, must have wrecked your mom's pussy. And like anytime you talk, and she said anytime you talk about like how like big a baby was at birth, the subtext is how much did you ravage?
That's so crazy.
The idea was
Wait,
she
did
was,
you say that out loud?
She did. Gabby's
my
girlfriend said
Oh,
that.
really?
My girlfriend who is usually, she comes across like quite put together, I think, and
Yeah.
very professional, but she kind of asserted as fact. She was like, when you talk about how big a baby is, like That's the subtext, right? Everyone is thinking about how her mom's vagina must be destroyed. Unless she had a C-section, but probably not.
She was like, that's what we're all talking about. We are all thinking this. And I was like, huh?
What are you talking about? That's crazy. It's like someone being like, I'm pregnant. We're all thinking about you got railed.
Yeah.
Like, no, we're not.
Well,
That's fucking wild.
I guess maybe. Depends.
That's so funny.
All right.
No, like we also, there's one more, like we had we were once at a party and like, I think you were saying like, no, I think you're autistic. Like, I really think you, and she was like, no, not me. No way. And like, but then got to talking about like how she had like very specific like preferences when it comes to texture and like not liking sand between her toes and really getting very nitty gritty with it. And like, and I was saying, yeah, it's understandable you'd want clean feet, but you specifically talking about the texture of it in a way that you have just feels very similar to one who would be autistic. And then she was like, no, it can't be. And I was like, wait, hold on. What do you think I am? And she said, you're normal like me. And that cut to my soul. It was one of the funniest things I've ever heard.
Oh my God, that's so cute.
It's so sweet.
That is very sweet.
You're very normal, Lucas.
Thank you so much.
I've always said this about you.
You are, Lucas.
Thank you.
Just
You're a
saying.
normal guy. All right, this one's kind of a long one, so
Okay.
buckle up.
Okay.
Hey, Meerkats and super cool guest. Hey,
What's
that's
up?
you. Big fan of the pod. I have some drama in the friend group and need advice on how to handle it. We're all in our early 20s. My two friends, let's call them Stella and Leo, were dating for over 2 years. However, while in the relationship, Stella developed a crush on another friend who we'll call Dante. After trying to shut it down...
I love the casting.
That's such a good name to be like. She fell in love with Leo. We're gonna call him Dante because everyone would.
If you saw him on the street, you'd think that guy's
Yeah.
Dante.
Dante or Sergio.
He has
Can't
Dante
decide.
face.
Yeah.
After trying to shut it down, she eventually broke down and came clean to Leo. Stella attempted to break up with Leo. Leo said, no, let's work on this. Stella hesitantly agreed. Their relationship lasted another several months, with Stella mentally checked out and Leo jealous and paranoid. Stella eventually broke things off with Leo due to their differing ideas for what they wanted in their relationship going forward. When they broke up, Leo wanted to set a timeline for when Stella was allowed to start dating again.
Oy.
The stated goal was to preserve their friendship as they shared a social circle. Stella reluctantly agreed. The agreement stated was that she wasn't allowed to enter a relationship with, kiss, or have sex with anyone until exactly 4 months after the breakup. This caused a huge strain on their friendship. Yeah. When Stella wanted to hang out with Dante as a friend a month after the breakup, Leo acted like she was cheating on him. Leo demanded that Stella keep track of every interaction she had with Dante and put them in a shared Google Doc.
Okay, stop. Leo
Leo
needs to be put away.
Leo's got a huge issue.
Leo is a deeply dysfunctional guy.
Leo's abusive.
This is
Leo
horrible.
That she keep track of every conversation they had verbatim. He even asked her to analyze their interactions and write it out for him.
What the fuck, dude?
At first, Stella went along with it, not wanting to cause more drama. Leo's behavior alienated Stella from our friend group, causing her to spend more time with
Alienated
Leo.
Stella.
Yeah. Why is Stella getting alienated?
Leo is a
Leo, we gotta
horrible
get
guy.
Leo out of here.
Before the end of the timeline, Stella and Dante admitted to having feelings for each other, but didn't make things official until the timeline formally ended. Leo still isn't speaking to Stella and is acting like she cheated on him with Dante. The friend group is a bit split, but we mostly hang out with Stella and Leo. They are just rarely at the same hangout. I have my own opinions on this, but I want to know how I can support both Leo and Stella. Any advice or thoughts?
Don't
You
support
can
Don't
Leo.
there's
support
no
Leo.
supporting Leo.
Don't
Leo
support
gets
Leo.
zero support. Stella gets all the support. Stella gets a hug.
Yes.
That's so mean.
Stella gets maybe a little bit of a conversation of like, how did you get this far with Leo in the first place?
Look,
'Cause that's-
I can. As you were reading that, and you said early 20s, and like this is like what I told you. The
They
Morocco,
sound. They're often. Yeah.
the
they sound very
Morocco
young.
story feels not maybe this extreme, but like wanting to be who your ex thinks you should be. Like wanting to think that, like not knowing what's right and wrong yet because you're too young and you haven't been in enough relationships. So you accept the first draft that someone else gives you as to like what a breakup should look like.
Yeah.
But like this is to an extreme of, I'm sympathetic to Stella, but Leo is an evil person.
I think so
Yeah.
too.
No, I have absolutely no. I think you should give like honestly an intervention for Leo. Maybe where you're like, hey, you are an extremely controlling, manipulative person, and nothing you have done is okay.
Yeah.
And you need to really sort out some shit.
It always
Go
makes
off
me
and do
laugh
that.
when people think that they can. All right, we're gonna set the timeline 4 months, and that's gonna work. And now she's not gonna want Dante anymore. 4 months is a clean period of time where she's not gonna feel anything for sexy Dante.
But imagine also the countdown. Like there's 3 days left. like it's Wednesday, but on Friday we can make out. Like that's so weird to me. And also in my head I'm like, go be with Dante because Dante sounds so hot, but that's just because they named that person Dante.
No, but
Yes.
but that was a chosen name, so Dante is probably really hot.
you think Dante's because Dante sounds like the name you know like when
Dante
the-
was a name produced by Vibes.
Yeah.
here. Yeah.
I'm picturing like in movies when the devil's a human for a second.
Yeah.
And he's like named Dante and he's always like really hot.
Are you thinking
That's
of
what I'm
Dante's Inferno?
Am I?
You may be.
I could possibly. I don't
Yeah.
know. In my head that just makes sense.
Yeah.
Girl, get in that inferno.
Get in there.
Yeah.
But like the idea of like 4 months, that's just the most toxic thing in the entire world. Look, when you break up with someone, you break up with someone, and there can be no. Afterwards, you can do like I have to get my stuff, I have to do whatever, but like don't try to cohabitate a dog, don't try to do any of the continuing resolutions of a relationship afterwards. Just let it be.
Yeah, I just think the 4 months of the way Leo is trying to control the situation is really crazy to me because it's like, okay, analyze your interaction. Like he's sitting there like an executive at work, like looking at it, click-clacking at his computer, being like, okay, so there was a brief flirtation at minute 0.2, according to Stella's. And also,
He's like trying to solve Watergate.
Yeah. I noticed that you used a lols instead of an LOL. We had a very clear agreement that lols was more flirty than LOL.
Laws was too sexual. Too
lols
horny.
was far too horny.
Too horny.
and I would prefer you refrain from using LMAO towards any of his jokes. Nothing he's ever said has made you laugh your ass off.
Also,
I can confirm your ass is still on.
Yes.
Please confirm.
I would like to keep your ass out of any conversations with Dante, for the ass is too sexual of a body part for you to even bring up in your laughter.
You hussy.
So why does he analyze? And if I'm Stella writing the Google Doc, all of my notes are just like, conversation was above board.
It's crazy the idea that you like need to learn Excel to be emotionally abused. Like you're entering into the most toxic thing in the entire world, and you're also learning how to like autofill a cell.
The formatting on date and time is not working.
This isn't working. I noticed you used Helvetica font. We agreed not to do that.
Avenir only. Okay.
Could you please color code this to be a little less stimulating?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Also, Leo needs a hobby. This is a man who needs a hobby.
Leo needs his friends to abandon him and
Yes.
go like genuinely. That feels like one of the more toxic things I've ever heard.
This
Yeah.
is an extremely toxic person.
The idea that you need to support Leo, dude,
No. Oh, my God.
it literally shut off.
Hello, friends. Don't mind me. The camera cut out for just a moment in the podcast. We got it up and running like within 30 seconds. But you'll notice a shift in conversation, so just bear with us and enjoy the rest of the episode.
Lucas is looking at butts on Instagram right now.
Yes.
Are you really? Goddamn.
Yeah.
There
Is
was
that
an
your-
outline of a butt.
Is your Discover
Hey,
page?
there's
just butts?
always an outline.
Is
There's
your
always
what's
an
your
outline.
Discover page? Is it all butts?
We did this at my friend's birthday party a couple weeks ago, and
Oh.
there's more butts than I would like to admit.
Yep, that's
It's, I think, and it's my only algorithm that has that. I think the Discover page is very much like, do you want to see butts?
Yeah.
you're like, yeah.
And they're like, yeah,
It's
I
like,
don't know.
yeah, of course I do.
Do I want this small picture of a butt to become a bigger picture of a butt? Kinda.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Kind of like, what do you want me to do, man? I have a lizard brain.
The Instagram Discover page is where you're like, Fine.
Yeah, my Discover page is butts and Stonehenge.
Fine. The two genders. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so this is the other submission we have. Hello,
Okay.
Meerkats. You probably don't remember it, but a long time ago, I submitted a submission about my irrational fear of having my nipples be sliced off in a freak accident. Got over it and got my nipples pierced today. Didn't even hurt at all that much. However, now there is a higher chance that they could be ripped off.
Oh my god.
I'll let y'all know if that happens. Keep you posted. Well, it sounds like you're doing better, but also worse.
Yeah, that's. I mean, is that looking for advice? I'm like, I think you're just killing it.
Do you have any irrational fears like that? Do you think your nipples are going to be sliced off?
I don't think I have. Okay, here's my irrational fear.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm sitting on the toilet, I get really afraid there's going to be some kind of fish that crawls up the toilet and into me. I don't know where that
What
comes from.
gave you don't know?
I think it maybe is relating to because you've heard about like the pea fish in the Amazon.
Yes. Oh yeah. No. If there's like a river in the Amazon where if you stand on a boat or just by a river and you pee into it, there is a fish that will swim up your pee stream and lodge itself in your penis.
There's no
There
way.
No, that's a
is.
real thing.
It is real.
So
This
I
is
think
so real.
it started there, and then whatever over the years. I
That's
remember
a good fear.
because I
also.
feel like when I'm sitting on the toilet, it's a very exposed feeling, and any kind of thing that would come up a drain could
Yeah.
do damage.
no,
And that's my irrational fear.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how. I'm trying to think how I can phrase this. Okay, so there is a psychologist I am aware of and know who I will not name.
Okay.
Because they revealed to me a story that is technically like confidentiality, but like there was a child who had this fear and like could not use the toilet because they were afraid of like an animal coming up the toilet and biting him on the ass.
Okay.
Turns out this did happen. A rat got through the pipes, bit this kid on the ass, and so this psychologist had to tell the parents, there's nothing wrong with your child. Your child is responding correctly to their environment. You need a better plumber or like something, you need something mended in your home.
You just ruined my life.
Yeah.
How could you say that to me?
I'm sorry.
So this irrational fear that I just said, you're saying
Is
not
rational.
so irrational.
Is rational.
It's a pea rat. No, it's a poop rat.
It's a poop rat.
It crawls
poop
up your
rat.
poop.
It's just
poop
a
rat.
rat that made the worst wrong turn anyone's ever
Unless
made.
you pee sitting down, which is okay.
Yeah. We want you to know that this is a safe space.
Yeah.
And if you pee sitting down, that's okay. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes,
I
sometimes
sit
you're just tired, man.
He's supposed to sit
Sometimes
down.
it's
life
nice to
is
sit
life is
down.
long. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you just kind of need a
People
rest.
say it so derisively about a guy who pees sitting down. I think it sounds.
It's also
lovely.
apparently healthier for like your urinary tract to actually sit down. So it's actually good to like
Really?
yeah. So like I mean like if I'm out and about, I'll pretty much always stand.
Yes.
But like I would say at least 2/3 of the time when I'm at home, I will sit.
Yeah.
Okay, what about sitting on the urinal?
I don't even know how you would.
It's pretty low down.
Yeah. Also, there's not a lot of.
There's not a
space.
good ledge.
I'm a larger person. There's not a lot. There's not a lot of space for it.
Yeah. There's not a lot of space for the caboose. You know?
I'm sorry to hear that.
Would you sit on a urinal?
Sure.
I know girls have like used urinals. For,
I've never done, but I guess
but I know like at bars and stuff. I've like.
have you ever
yeah.
tried the shiwi, the little funnel?
What's that?
It's like
Oh yeah, where a girl can like kind of.
it's like it's a specially designed funnel that you put over the hoo-ha, and it allows you to
to like write your name in the snow.
yeah, exactly.
I think I missed this episode of Shark Tank. Yeah. I like that the first reason for it is to write your name in the snow.
I've always wanted to write my name in the snow.
It is- you gotta
That is
admit, it
why
is
I would
fun.
want to do that.
That is great.
It is a good.
Writing your name in the snow is really great.
It's good.
Although
It's a-
I think it's very hard to find an opportunity now.
true.
Like when I was like 8, it's like adorable, and now
Yeah.
a 31-year-old man, Jack, in the middle of Prospect Park or Central Park or any park, would just be like wild, dude.
Yeah, no.
Oh my god, Jack,
good,
you've been a great guest. We have
You've
two
been
more
so good.
questions for you.
Sure, go ahead.
And then we're gonna do a little Patreon segment.
Okay.
So
Yes.
this first question is self-perception corner. We're gonna ask you how you think other people perceive you generally,
Yeah.
and then we'll say how we actually perceive you.
Okay. Sure.
Whatever you
Oh,
want.
so I just
for
answer
it.
what I think how people
How do you
perceive me.
believe you are? Yeah. How do you believe you're
I
perceived
think
by the people?
specifically in the comedy scene, I'm perceived as being like a very good because of my material, which is usually cleaner and a little like whimsical. I think I'm perceived as like very much like a goody two shoes. And I've been like, I've had comics describe me as like a sweet boy or whatever. And I think I am like I don't think I'm not fully that. Like, I'm not saying I'm a bad person. I think I'm a good person. Just like, but I'm not like as goody two shoes sweet as I think the comedy scene perceives me as. I think they perceive me as my material presents myself. And I don't think it's not a one-to-one connection.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I perceive you as someone with a fairly clean soul.
Thanks.
I see you as someone who like has a good understanding of where he finds joy in life, and like you have a very generous spirit. I think you only want to share that. I think that you have like dark parts to you, but you're like, oh no, I'm gonna acknowledge it, but then not indulge in it and like focus on the things that actually make me happy.
I appreciate
like
that.
the way you talked about like, you know, designing your home and stuff. I'm like, oh yeah, this is someone who's like really trying to just be the best version of himself that he possibly can be.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
And I also think you're one of the most spectacular writers I've ever seen.
Oh,
Thank you, dude.
I still
appreciate
think
that.
about your roast battle against Rachel Lander.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did that. Yeah.
I remember
Grove 34.
one joke specifically that just stuck in my head.
Which was it?
It was, technically speaking, Rachel is a giraffe. Giraffes have a pair of furry horns on their head called ossicians.
Yeah, I found. Yeah.
Giraffes use ossicians to battle each other, whereas Rachel uses her ossicians to let everyone know she's a Jew.
Yeah. Thank you, Lucas.
I think I was doing a battle, and so I recorded like the whole show.
Yeah.
But I still had the footage from that, and I rewatched that because it was beautiful.
Oh, that's sweet. Dude.
That
was
roast
so
was
beautiful.
that roast was really fun. I remember. Yeah, I would say I definitely like. I don't know that I see the like goody two shoes clean thing.
Okay.
And I think it's, but I also don't see you as like bad either.
No,
Like,
but also, neither do I.
just to clarify, I think it definitely speaks to the bar in comedy where it's like if you're not like an evil murderer,
Yeah.
like you must be like a nice little guy.
Yeah.
You know, but I think with you, yeah, I mean, what impressed me first is like your writing, your comedic performance. And then I think just as a person, I definitely just see you as like, and this is like in the most positive way possible, just like a very normal guy from New Jersey.
Thanks.
And sometimes I feel like we don't get a lot of that. We meet people from everywhere, but it's rare to meet
We've had a lot of normal guys from New Jersey on this podcast, actually.
not normal guys. We've had guys from New Jersey on the pod. I don't think we've ever had anyone normal.
I think John Franklin's pretty normal.
Oh yeah, John Franklin. Yeah,
Yeah.
but he's the exception, not the rule. But it's nice to meet someone similar region.
One of the good
from me.
ones.
No, because I think Sorry, I'll let you finish, Gabby. I didn't mean to.
I also like interestingly like analytical. I also think something cool about you is like I asked you at the beginning of the podcast like what were you thinking about today?
Yeah.
Because I know that if I ask you that, you will have been thinking about something.
Yeah.
You like
You're a processor.
yeah, you're someone who's like I don't think your brain turns off very often.
No.
Yeah.
I really love it too.
You're
Yeah.
also very articulate. You
Oh,
are a
thank you.
very good expresser of yourself through words in a way that I admire a lot.
Oh, thank you, Lucas. Because I
Yeah.
view you that way. I feel like you're very good at like constructing and also
I-
you have a great voice for it.
Thank you.
So anytime you're talking, it feels a little bit like a well-written narration.
I feel like it feels for me like I use a lot of energy trying to find the right words.
Interesting.
It takes a lot of energy to do that because I don't really have like an internal monologue. And so it's like
Really?
I was a delayed speaker, so there was like a lot of formation without language.
That's really interesting.
Yeah. And so it actually takes it's almost like translating. It's like, oh no, I have to put this in like the language lens.
I see you as pretty verbal. You're
You're
a
very-
processor,
that's-
right?
yes.
Yeah.
I'm very
Verbal.
like that. Do you
Yes.
think that, just because I'm curious, do you think that puts you more in the moment? Like if there's not a big internal monologue,
Oh,
meaning-
maybe.
do you think that puts you more in like a present place?
I think that real presence is actually knowing how you feel about something, and I often don't know that.
That's fascinating. It's an interesting way of putting it.
Mm.
Oh, it's beautiful. See, you just articulated that
Yeah,
beautifully.
you definitely did.
That was awesome.
All right.
Second question. You
Sure.
can go a little silly with this one.
Okay.
But prophecy corner. Where is Jack Finnegan in the world, in his life, in like 5 years from now?
5 years from now?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, this is actually I've been thinking a lot about this recently. I don't know. I will say this is actually like this kind of feels like I'm sidestepping, but I'm not. This feels like one of the first times where I really have no idea. Where like if you had asked me that question 5 years ago, I probably would have predicted this exact life that I'm living.
Yes.
Yeah, I would have predicted doing this podcast.
Yeah.
But like
One day.
no, but I
Yeah.
probably would have predicted doing being in Astoria because I always wanted to move there. Having like living alone if I could, and like definitely going to be doing stand up 5 years from now. But in terms of like what the rest of my life looks like with like my current job, I don't know if that's going to maintain now. That doesn't feel as stable. If I'll be in New York, if I'll be single, like I really have no, like right now that's a very hard question for me to answer.
Yeah.
And it's like very specifically right now a hard question to answer.
Yeah.
Because
What
for a long time I could have.
How would you like your life to be arranged? If you
5 years from now?
Yeah.
I don't ever want to stop doing stand up. I love doing stand up. I don't want to be at my current job because I've been doing the same job for about like 8 years and it feels like things feel kind of stale right now. So really like in 5 years, I would just like things to be new.
You should have a manic episode.
I'm thinking about it.
Okay. Good.
I'm going for it.
That helps.
What does Jack Unleashed look like?
Jack Mania. He's doing a lot of voices alone in his apartment.
Okay.
I talk to myself a lot. Like even when I was like had roommates, like I'll be just in the bathroom, be like, time to brush our teeth. Like I do a lot of bits. I'm like doing like bits by myself and out loud. So I think Jack Mania is like Jack in his apartment doing character voices while he cooks eggs. and like probably
worse
just if I
things.
have a manic episode, it just continues on that, and I maybe do it in public.
There's so many worse things you could.
There's a lot of worse things.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like. I will like do cocaine and hook up with people I really shouldn't, you know.
Oh,
And she
well, I
has.
had that phase, to be clear.
When I have, yes.
Yeah. I'll be honest, I had that phase in my life. Like when I was like 26, there was a lot of that. And now that I don't really have the desire to do any of those things anymore, it's a lot of like just dancing alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like in a kitchen.
much
You know what I
so
mean?
wholesome.
That's why I like being older. I mean,
I like it.
We're not like older.
No, I know.
compared to the population,
Yeah,
but I
yeah.
like being older than 26.
I had a feeling in my mid 20s of like constant FOMO. That was
Yeah.
like, I think more perceived than reality.
Totally.
Of like, because I had always been like in college kind of, I never went as like hard as other people. I was a late bloomer in a lot of ways. So like when I hit 25, I was like, I felt like I missed out on a lot of like going out experiences or whatever. And I think ultimately that was complete BS. But at that time, it felt like I was constantly trying to catch up to something.
yeah.
And now
Yeah.
that has completely faded away. And the amount of relaxation that brings is like pretty fucking nice.
That's beautiful. I'm
Yeah.
excited to turn 30.
yeah,
I'm
it's great.
excited.
How old are you, Lucas?
I'm 20. I turned 30 in May.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's gonna be great.
It's
I
awesome,
Can't wait
man.
for 30-year-old Lucas. It's gonna be exactly the same. Jack, where can the people find you?
Where can we find
You can find me Jay Finnegan Comedy on all social media, Instagram. I don't have a Twitter anymore. But I have a Blue Sky, but it's empty. But on TikTok and Instagram, Jay Finnegan Comedy. Those are the main places. Also on YouTube. And I'm around.
Beautiful.
Nice.
Friends, you can find me on all social media at Lucas T. Arnold. Come see my roast battle against Priya Blunts on 420. Blaze it every day. That's not a thing.
Please, on 420, please.
Every I'm a stoner. I blaze on only 420.
I only blaze on 420 every day.
Every day at
Yeah.
4:20 p.m. on the dot.
Yeah, no, I'll also be on the road with John Franklin. Come see us on our websites, buy tickets, and we'll see you out there. Bye-bye, and on the Gabby.
Yeah. Come see my shows. I'll post about them. Thank you to Jack. Thank you guys for
Thank you,
listening.
guys.
Thank you.
That was
Join
fun.
us on
Join us on Patreon. We're
Patreon.
gonna have a little bonus segment with John.
We'll see you next time.
Wait, John? No, I accidentally. Oh no, I'm sorry. I said John when I was plugging shows, and then I got mixed up.
You're
Sorry, with
crazy.
Jack.